And we're live. Hello and welcome to the Football Podcast for Tuesday, the 13th of October. I'm joined as always by a certain Adam Galau to discuss the hottest stories surrounding the footballing world.
Hello, Theo. It is a pleasure to be here. And without further ado, let us commence this podcast.
Indeed, in today's edition of the Football Podcast, we'll be covering our Champions League predictions.
Indeed, but, before we continue, if you are enjoying our content, we really appreciate a like, subscribe, and if you could turn on the notifications bell for your benefit, it would be great. But that takes us on to our formalized Champions League predictions. In Group A, we have quite a strong group. Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, RB Salzburg, and Lokomotiv Moscow. What are your thoughts on this one, Theo?
Yeah, this is, like we said again, a pretty strong opener for Group 1. RB Leipzig and Lokomotiv Moscow looking to just bring an upset, but me and Adam did conclude before recording that it would be Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. No particular order, whoever finishes 1 and 2, but there it is. Moving swiftly onwards to Group B, we have Borussia Mönchengladbach, who really performing well in the Bundesliga. Inter Milan, we know all about them from their Europa League push last year. Narrowly missing out on the trophy, coming second, losing to Sevilla in a very good game, 3-2. Real Madrid reclaiming the La Liga title from Barcelona last year, and then Shakhtar Donetsk looking to get that third place finish, looking to secure that Europa League football. In that respect, Adam, your thoughts?
Well, I think Real Madrid and Barcelona will move on to, but I think they've somewhat recently taken their foot off the pedal. I think both of them since Ronaldo's departure, including Barcelona. So I think that they will win this group comfortably, but I don't think they are anywhere near the prowess, unfortunately for them, of the Ronaldo era with Benzema, Bale, and Ronaldo all at their prime, backed by Modric and Toni Kroos also in their prime. I think that they'll win comfortably. As for second place, Inter Milan put on a good show in the final last year of the Europa League, but could not quite win it, unfortunately. And so I think that there is not too much doubt there in that group who the winners will be. But that takes us on to Group C with Manchester City. They have quite an easy group. Why that is down to personal interpretation. We prefer not to speculate here at the Football Podcast, but Man City will be facing Olympiacos, Marseille, and Porto. What do you think, Theo?
Yeah, pretty interesting group there. Man City, obviously, not getting as stiff a competition as we would expect, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. They will progress. We know they will. Highly unlikely that they won't. But we think Porto will be the other team that will go through. It was kind of between them and Marseille, really. Olympiacos, with all due respect, it'll be hard for them to get a word in this kind of group. But they'll be licking their lips at this group, actually, Olympiacos, and thinking that they have a chance here, despite the quality differential between the other three sides. They would be much happier with this group as opposed to having Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. They've got Man City, that's the big talent, but they've got nothing much to follow on from that. So that second place spot is well up for grabs, and Olympiacos will be looking at that spot. But we do think it will be Porto and Man City. Moving on to Group D, we have Ajax, Atalanta, Liverpool, and Champions League debutants FC Midtjylland. Hope I didn't mess that one up. but that's how we think we pronounce it. Adam, your thoughts here? Pretty hard group to decide from.
Well, I think that Liverpool will win this group. Maybe 2018 season Ajax would be strong contenders for the title of this group. But Theo and I were also discussing pre-recording that this is an Ajax side without De Ligt, De Jong, Van de Beek, and many others. I think it's a very much weakened Ajax side. And so we don't know how well they all do. But I think as for second place, I think that Atalanta might clutch it this year. What do you think, Theo?
Yeah, I think Atalanta really proving themselves to be a really strong side in this competition, and generally, really. So I think Atalanta will be looking to cause another really good Champions League run this year. Maybe going for the semifinals again, but you never know. With the Champions League, you can never really predict set in stone what's going to happen. Because there's always going to be a surprise here and there. There always will be. Group E, we have Liverpool and Atalanta, obviously, for Group D. And now Group E, we've got Chelsea, Sevilla, Champions League debutants from Russia, Krasnodar, and then Stade Rennais. Edouard Mendy set to face against his former club. Adam, your thoughts on this one?
Well, Chelsea are looking very fresh, new, young, talented side under Frank Lampard. So we think they're favorites for this group. And we didn't have too much trouble deciding that Sevilla would be runners-up with their performance in the Europa League. Due respect to Stade Rennais and Krasnodar, but we just can't see them really beating any two of those established sides. That takes us on to Group G, quite a monumental group here, with two of the titans of modern-day football, Ronaldo and Messi, facing each other with Juventus and Barcelona, who are joined by an unfortunate pairing, frankly, of Dynamo Kiev and Ferencváros. Sorry, I may have butchered that pronunciation. But what do you think will be the result of that for you?
Yeah, I think obviously Juventus and Barcelona have to be the two. But it'll be a really interesting matchup between Ronaldo and Messi there. So looking forward to that stiff competition between those two. Unfortunately, it would appear that we have skipped a group. We're just going to backtrack back to Group F, and then we'll go ahead to our final group in Group H, which is also very exciting. But we'll go back to Group F. We have Dortmund, Club Brugge, Lazio, and Zenit. Adam?
My apologies for skipping the group, Theo. I mustn't have been concentrating. But I think that Dortmund will do very well in this group. Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho alongside the likes of Giovanni Reina, Julian Brandt, just to name a few. The list goes on. Marco Reus. Who else? Torgan Hazard. And then the two flying fullbacks as well. I think Dortmund will win this group quite comfortably. And the second place, we actually had quite a struggle deciding pre-podcast. But we think that Club Brugge, we have a hunch that Club Brugge will do well in this group and overperform. But so we have mentioned Group G, if you want me to remind you, Theo. That is Juventus, Barcelona, Dynamo Kiev, and Ferencváros. Your analysis of that group?
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting group. Again, like I said, the competition between Messi and Ronaldo will be very, very interesting. Seeing how they face up against each other. I can't remember the last time they faced up against each other. Couldn't have been
Must
internationally.
have been an El Clasico.
Yeah, it had to have been an El Clasico. A couple years back, maybe 2017. So gonna be great to see them reunited. The last time I saw them together in the same frame was last year's Player of the Year awards, which Van Dijk actually won. But there you have it. And we move on to our final group before we move on to who we think will win it or who we think is capable of winning it. We have Group H, and this is the real group of death, I guess you could call it. PSG, Manchester United, RB Leipzig, and then I hope I don't mess up this one as well. Basaksehir, a Turkish team, I believe. Perhaps debutants, I'm not quite sure. But unfortunately, no disrespect to them, they don't have a chance in this group. They'll finish fourth for sure. RB Leipzig, Man United, and PSG. We think Man United will flop. We think they'll finish third. We think they're going back to the Europa League, personally. They've shown a lot of signs of weakness. Their post-lockdown hype has been completely depleted by their false their defending has been poor. They need another centre back. I don't know why they're looking at Jadon Sancho still, despite the close of the transfer window. So personally, we think Manchester United will not make it. It'll be RB Leipzig and PSG. One or two doesn't really matter, but we think it'll be those two. And then Adam will alternate from number 5 to number 4 to number 3 to number 2. We have our top 5 teams that we think could win it. I'll start with number 5. So we don't think they'll win it this year, but we think they'll have a better chance next year. Their new signings will have to gel. We think Chelsea. If they can, hey, the Champions League is a long process. It ends in, I think, June, probably this year as well. So, hey, that's a long time for that squad to gel. And if they can gel, if they can do it well, they'll have a really good chance. If we can see that perfect link-up between those Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, who have both got a goal, actually, today against Switzerland. Good stuff for them in the Nations League tonight on Tuesday, the 13th of October. Anyway, we think Chelsea are number 5. Adam, number 4?
We're thinking the other European giant of England, Liverpool. I think that they definitely seem a bit more aged than they did in the season they won the Champions League. They're still capable of the same moments of glory and sheer brilliance in the link-up play. But I don't think this will be their season, unfortunately. But number 3, Theo, what do you think?
We've got Juventus down. They've got a very strong squad, obviously, with Ronaldo at the base of that. And champions of Syria, Andre Pirlo, new coach. Looks good for Juventus, and they've got a pretty good chance of making it all the way.
Can I take on to Theo?
Absolutely.
We have Paris Saint-Germain in number 2. I'm sure you can by now guess the first place, but if you haven't, we will let you find out if you stay for a bit longer. But we think that they have shown great quality. The way that Kylian Mbappe and Neymar tear up defenses, and Di Maria helping them as well. So they're a force to be reckoned with in the attack. And defensively, they're no pushover either. So we think they'll do well. But Theo, do you want to take us away with the winners of this year's Champions League by our predictions?
Yeah, I think same with our Premier League predictions. It's hard to choose a different winner, especially when it was so dominantly done. So we think it'll be Bayern Munich again. Just like we said, Liverpool won the title by such a significant margin. It'd be hard to say that it wouldn't be Liverpool again. That's why we selected them. And again, Bayern Munich won the Champions League by such a significant margin, but with such ease, that it would be hard to take it away from them and say, hey, look, we got some superstition saying they won. They're our number one. We think they're the most likely team to win the Champions League this year again. So yeah, there you have it. And that does conclude our Champions League predictions. Do comment in the comment section below if you think any other teams deserve to be in that top 5 as opposed to ours, and give us your opinions. So yeah, that does conclude our podcast. And Adam, any final words?
Yep, as I've said earlier, do not forget to subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the post notifications. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Bye-bye. Thank you.